minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Maher, who is Uri Berliner?
Mr. Berliner is a former senior editor,
That's all?
a former senior business editor for NPR.
How long do you work at NPR?
I believe he was there just over 25 years.
25 years? Award-winning journalist? Did he win any awards?
Our time did not
Peabody
overlap.
Award? That's pretty important, isn't it?
That is
So
absolutely.
pretty distinguished journalist, right?
Certainly.
And he wrote a long story about what you do at NPR. Is NPR biased?
Congressman, I have never seen any instance of political bias determining editorial decisions. No.
Well, Mr. Berliner, in his story last year, wrote, in the D.C. area, editorial positions at NPR, he said he found 87 registered Democrats, 0 Republicans. Is that accurate?
What's up, Patriots? Welcome back to Right View Nation, where we call out the hypocrisy, expose the lies, and shine a light on the truth the mainstream media tries to bury. If you're tired of the liberal spin and ready for the facts, you're in the right place. Now, folks, today, buckle up, because Congressman Jim Jordan just took the gloves off and absolutely dismantled NPR, National Propaganda Radio, and their so-called nonpartisan CEO Katherine Maher. And let me tell you, it was a masterclass in exposing left-wing bias hiding behind the taxpayer-funded curtain. Let's talk about what just happened.
We do not track the numbers or the voter registration, but I find that
Was award-winning journalist who worked 25 years at NPR, Mr. Berliner, was he lying when he wrote that?
I am not presuming such. I just we don't track that information about our journalists.
87 to 0, and you're not biased.
I think that is concerning if those numbers are accurate.
It's concern. I mean, it wasn't 44-43. It wasn't 60-27. It wasn't 70-17. It wasn't even 80-7. It was 87 Democrats, 0 Republicans, and you say NPR is not biased. How about the big stories over the last few years? According to Mr. Berliner, again, he wrote on the Trump-Russia story, he wrote, at NPR, we hitched our wagon to Trump's most visible antagonist, Representative Adam Schiff. He said they interviewed him 25 times. Is that accurate?
I was not there at the time, but those numbers sound accurate. Yes.
Those sound accurate. But then he said when the Mueller report came out and Robert Mueller said he found no evidence of collusion, he said Russiagate faded from our programming. Is that accurate?
Again, I was not there at the time. I couldn't say.
You couldn't say?
I was not at NPR at the time.
You didn't prepare for that? You knew we were going to ask you about this guy, didn't you? It's come up like 6,000 times already in the hearing.
I just couldn't say whether it faded from our coverage, sir.
How about this story? October 2020, the New York Post had the Hunter Biden laptop story, and one of those editors, I guess one of those 87 Democrat editors, said this: we don't want to waste our time on stories that are not really stories. We don't want to waste the listeners' and readers' times on stories that are just pure distractions. Was that a pure distraction story?
Our current editorial leadership believes that that was a mistake, as do I.
Yeah, the whole country knows that was a mistake. Definitely impacted the election, or I think it certainly impacted the election. How about the COVID origin story? That's a pretty big story too, right? Mr. Berliner said, we became fervent members of the team Natural Origin, even declaring that the lab leak was debunked by scientists. Turns out, though, the lab leak is what most people think actually caused the COVID virus.
Sorry, sir, is there a question there?
There is. You guys were 0 for 3 on the three of the biggest stories in the last 5 years. You guys were 0 for 3, and yet you maintain that NPR is not biased?
Congressman, I do not believe we are politically biased. No, we are a nonpartisan organization.
Nonpartisan organization. What's happening to your listeners over the last 5 years? Went up, down, or stayed the same?
It has gone up and down and is now going back up.
Well, I thought 5 years ago it was at 60 million. And you said in your opening statement, I think, 43 million.
That's correct.
So 43 million now, and it was at 60 million 5 years ago. I can do some math. That looks like it went down.
And is now going back up.
It's now going back up?
Yes, it is.
How much has it went back up?
It's gone up a couple of millions over the past years.
So you went from 60 million to 41 million. Now you're back up to 43 million.
In a year's time, I'm very proud of that growth, sir.
Okay, you're proud of that growth. Okay. But over 5 years, it's went down 18 million.
That is correct, sir.
Okay. Should taxpayers subsidize NPR?
I believe that taxpayers subsidize local stations, sir. That is the vast majority of what
I thought you said you got 11 million from Corporation of Public Broadcasting, which is taxpayer funded directly to you, right?
That is to support the public.
And then local stations get it from the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, right? They get taxpayer
100
money.
million that goes to the local
100 million goes to
stations,
local stations, and then those local stations buy back programming and content from you. So that money goes to the local stations, comes back to you, gets routed through the local stations, all taxpayer money.
Those fees are actually based on private donations rather than on federal funding.
Well, we all know money's fungible, so some of it gets put in there.
Certainly, we could agree that money is fungible.
What? More money for less listeners. You fired the guy who pointed all this out, who said that you were so biased to the left that you lost listeners, which is exactly happening, and you're here maintaining that, oh, you need to continue to get taxpayer money.
I did not fire Mr. Berliner, sir.
Okay, the guy that left after all that. Understand. Are you fundraising off today's hearing?
Sir, I believe that there was a message that went out earlier today letting people know we were coming in. Yes.
Yeah, and at the bottom of the message it said, donate now, right?
I don't recall the exact
I can
language.
show it to you. Right there it is. Donate now. I mean, I'm not against fundraising. We all do it. I mean, I get it. But it's, I assume this fundraising thing is probably going to all the left listeners who are subsidized content by the taxpayers, and that's the
gentleman's
rub.
time is
That's
expired.
the rub. I yield back.
I now recognize Ms. Randall from Washington for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. You know,
I'm going to walk you through the key moments of this hearing and give you the real analysis the liberal media won't touch. First off, Jordan hits her with the obvious. Who is Yuri Berliner? A man who worked at NPR for 25 years, a senior editor, a journalist with awards under his belt, not some political operative, not some right-wing blogger. A man from within NPR's own ranks who finally had the courage to blow the whistle on what we all knew was going on. Blatant, unapologetic liberal bias. 87 Democrats, 0 Republicans. Let that sink in. Not 50-50, not even 70-30, 0 Republicans. And Maher's response? We don't track political affiliation. Oh, really? You don't track it, but the numbers tell the story. If your newsroom looks more like an AOC rally than a diverse group of thinkers, you've got a problem. And if you can't even admit it, you're not just biased, you're complicit. Then we get into the Russia collusion hoax. NPR hitched their wagon to Adam Schiff, the man who cried wolf about Trump-Russia collusion for years. They interviewed him 25 times. But when the Mueller report finally came out and proved there was no collusion, suddenly, radio silence. No correction, no retraction, no accountability. Just move along, folks. Nothing to see here. And they expect us to believe they're nonpartisan? Please. This is propaganda, plain and simple. Next up, the infamous Hunter Biden laptop story, the one NPR refused to cover just weeks before the 2020 election. You remember that, right? An NPR editor literally said they didn't want to waste listeners' time on a story that was just a distraction. A distraction? You mean the laptop that contained potential evidence of corruption, foreign influence, and shady business deals involving the Biden family? That's not a distraction. That's a bombshell. And NPR chose to cover it up. And now, even Maher admits it was a mistake. But the damage is done. That intentional silence absolutely influenced the election. They wanted Biden in, and they helped make it happen. Then there's COVID, the lab leak theory. The left and their media puppets mocked us for even mentioning it, called it a conspiracy theory. NPR outright dismissed it as bunk. Well, guess what? More and more evidence suggests the lab leak was the most likely origin. And while conservatives were raising the red flag, NPR was carrying water for the Chinese Communist Party narrative. So again, 0 for 3. Trump-Russia? Wrong. Hunter Biden laptop? Wrong. COVID origins? Wrong. And yet NPR still claims they're a trusted, balanced source of news. It's laughable. Let's talk numbers. 5 years ago, NPR had 60 million listeners. Today, 43 million. That's a drop of 17 million people. And what's their response? Oh, we're proud it's going back up. Yeah, by 2 million. Big deal. Maybe, just maybe, Americans are waking up and realizing they're being force-fed a leftist narrative funded by their own tax dollars. Let me ask you this. Why are we, the American taxpayer, subsidizing a media outlet that is so clearly, unapologetically biased against half the country? We're forced to fund a platform that wouldn't even hire a conservative if Ronald Reagan came back from the grave and applied for a job. Enough is enough. And to top it all off, get this. While Maher's sitting in that hearing, getting grilled by Congress, NPR is literally fundraising off the event. Donate now, the email says. So let's get this straight. They're using our tax dollars to fund left-wing programming, then using that platform to raise more money from liberal donors. It's a never-ending feedback loop of bias and betrayal. Listen, this hearing was a wake-up call, not just about NPR, but about every single institution that claims to be neutral while actively working against conservative voices. It's time we hold them accountable. It's time we demand our tax dollars stop going to platforms that silence dissent, spin the facts, and manipulate the truth. We salute Jim Jordan for standing up and calling it like it is. We need more warriors like him in Washington. If you're with us, if you're tired of the lies and ready to fight back, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Right View Nation, and share this with every patriot you know. We're just getting started. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America.